360 exclusive, a Harvey Weinstein accuser is speaking out as the former Hollywood producer awaits retrial in New York in a sex crimes case after his conviction was recently overturned by an appeals court. The court said the trial judge wrongly admitted some testimony and incorrectly allowed prosecutors to question Weinstein about verbal abuse. Now, the woman you're about to hear from tonight had nothing to do with the case. Prosecutors never brought charges based on her accusations. She says Weinstein assaulted her nearly a decade ago. She also says she was silenced by a catch-and-kill effort by the National Enquirer, just like the testimony in the former president's hush money trial. Now she's talking exclusively with CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister.
Almost like a gut punch. Why is that happening?
Ambra Bartolana Gutierrez, stunned after a New York appeals court overturned the sex crimes conviction against disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. The Italian model giving CNN a wide-ranging interview and new details on previous efforts to keep her silent after she worked with the NYPD on a sting operation in 2015, wore a wire, and caught this on tape.
Yesterday you touched my breast.
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that. Come on.
Are you used to that?
Yes, come in.
No, but I'm not used to that.
I won't do it again. Come on. Sit here.
Despite an apparent admission of groping her, New York prosecutors never moved forward with the case, a decision that raised questions, which we'll get to. Adding to her suspicions, someone was leaking her allegations to the press, leading to tabloid headlines like "Grope Gal Asked for Movie Part" and "Secret Life of Harvey Shy Accuser."
I was 22 years old and I was put under accusation of not being truthful and to be a prostitute or not a perfect victim because I am a model.
Bartolana Gutierrez believed then and now the Weinstein machine was behind it all.
It wasn't just him. I know there is more people behind him that have positions of power that he was using as well.
But who? Bartolana Gutierrez believes part of the answer can be found here, at former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. That's where former National Enquirer boss David Pecker testified to paying off sources to protect Trump's reputation by preventing negative stories from ever going public. While Weinstein's name didn't come up on the stand,
this tabloid news organization became a protection racket for the rich and powerful.
Lachlan Cartwright, a former editor for The Enquirer who now writes for The Hollywood Reporter, claims The Enquirer protected Weinstein too. Cartwright claims he was instructed by an editor who worked under Pecker to buy Bartolana Gutierrez's story, later learning it was to keep it from being told and to protect Weinstein, who had a business relationship with The Enquirer's parent company.
Initially, Ambra Bartolana was offered $20,000 by the National Enquirer.
They were trying to say, like, how much you want? And I kept just answering nothing. I wanted to tell my story, but I wanted to trust someone.
Cartwright says he was told to raise the stakes to $150,000 for a story that the tabloid could have had for free. Bartolana Gutierrez's go-between texted back, she says no, don't ask again. Cartwright alleges he later learned that a top lawyer for The Enquirer spoke to the Manhattan DA's office in an attempt to disparage Bartolana Gutierrez's credibility.
And telling them that Ambra Bartolana was trying to sell her story. It was the complete opposite of what was actually going on, because we were inducing Ambra Bartolana. She wasn't trying to sell her story. I felt sick to my stomach.
The decision not to prosecute came from previous DA Cy Vance, no longer in office. He told CNN, "I have no information that I recall presently that the National Enquirer or anyone representing it spoke with our office about selling a story to The Enquirer." Weinstein told CNN through a spokesperson, the DA's office knew all the facts and passed on this case. Had they felt they could pursue it, they would have. Neither Pecker nor The Enquirer's new parent company responded to requests for comment. Bartolana Gutierrez says she also turned down hush money from Weinstein's lawyers.
They went up to 300, 700, a million, and I still turned down every time.
And then, Gutierrez says her brother, back in Italy, was approached by someone asking about her.
I got so scared. I remember that I called my lawyer right away and I just said, like, whatever they said, just do it, just do it.
She finally gave in and signed a non-disclosure agreement, receiving money and agreeing not to talk. Weinstein told CNN of the NDA, Ms. Gutierrez's lawyers controlled those meetings and set the terms for it, adding his legal team later raised reasonable doubts about various aspects of her story during cross-examination in his Los Angeles sex crimes trial. He never faced charges in Battilana Gutierrez's case, but she did tell her story to a jury in 2022 as a supporting witness in Los Angeles, where Weinstein was convicted on 3 of 7 charges and sentenced to 16 years in prison. And at the end of the trial, I spoke to one of the jurors, and I remember he said to me, if Ambra was tied to charges, I would have felt that Harvey Weinstein was guilty 100%. I see you getting emotional, and if you want to take a moment, it's okay.
I know. Knowing that if maybe I could have just found the right person to release those recordings, you know, I wouldn't lose everything I lost. And many people would have not been in the position that they are in right now because we could have just finished everything in 2015.
Elizabeth Wagmeister joins us now. So the current Manhattan DA has vowed to retry Weinstein. Will Ambra Gutierrez be involved in that trial?
It's a great question, Anderson, and no, she won't. Ambra told me that she is thrilled that they will retry this case, but Ambra testified in Los Angeles as a supporting witness, and these are the exact type of witnesses that are at the crux of why this conviction was overturned. The New York Court of Appeals says that there was too much evidence, too many women who testified because their testimony did not directly tie into these charges. So Ambra is actually part of a network of accusers and survivors of sexual assault who are working towards changing these laws because they feel it is important for a jury to hear a pattern of alleged behavior. Now, by the way, Anderson, I do want to let you know that Ambra is still under that non-disclosure agreement, but she broke that $1 million NDA to speak to us in this interview.
Elizabeth, thanks so much.